Hey everyone, what do you say? It's Gannon, JGA59, and today I just thought I'd share some of my cards with you. Right now, Ray from Philly is asking for suggestions for cards that might be elected to the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. I sent in a list, and some of these cards are on the list, and some of them are not. And in regards to what cards do get selected for the Hall of Fame, obviously they're all different criteria. But sometimes I think that they're just some aesthetically really pleasing and beautiful cards that maybe aren't of a Hall of Famer or aren't a valuable rookie that are so nice that they should be. To me, they're a Hall of Fame card. We all have our own ideas of what would be a Hall of Fame card, and it's fun to talk about it, bat it around. There are really no right or wrong answers. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And today, well, right now we're starting off with four of my favorite cards. These are just to me what baseball cards are all about. I mean, if you look at each one, I mean, they're just great cards. On the left, you see, maybe I'll pick it up. This is the 1969 Cleon Jones. And I mean, God, look at that. That's just such an amazing card. I love it. And 1969, of course, was Cleon Jones' year. The Mets went all the way and won the World Series, and Cleon hit 340, and that was his best year. And I just love this card, Cleon Jones. And then above, well, at the top here, you have Bobby Richardson, the great Yankee second baseman. This is his 1960 Topps card. And 1960 was ultimately a tough year for the Yanks, of course, as they lost in 7 games to the Pirates in the World Series, losing when Bill Mazeroski hit his famous home run. But Bobby Richardson was actually voted the MVP of that series. I forget how many RBIs he had, but he had I think 12 RBIs. Somebody can correct me on that. And he was just the Yankees' second baseman for many years, retiring after the 1966 season. Below him, you see the great Felipe Alou. The Alou brothers, Felipe, Jesus, and Matty, all played in the major leagues. And I just think this is a stunning card. The pose. Wow. To me, it doesn't get any better than that. Felipe Alou, 1960 Topps. And look at this Wes Covington card, 1959 All-Star. Yeah, man. It's a baseball card. Yes, sir. I haven't been showing the backs. What does it say here? It says, I'm having trouble reading. Wes Covington. Wes hit one of the Braves' 3 series homers in 1958. Talking about the 1958 World Series when the Yankees and the Braves played each other. It was a rematch of the 57 series. The Braves won in 57 and the Yanks were behind 3 games to 1 and came back to win in 1958. So he hit one of the 3 home runs that the Braves hit in that World Series. Wes Covington. Beautiful card. Hold on one second. I'm just going to show you a bunch of my favorite cards real quick. Anybody know who this is? Well, this is the great Yankee right fielder Tommy Henrich on his 1948 Bowman card. Love that card. Look at that. Just look at that pose. Amazing. Next is 1970 Topps Tony Taylor. They had a number of cards that year that featured the players at the bat rack cards. Harmon Killebrew was another one of those cards where the players at the bat rack, and this one also happens to be autographed. I just always thought this was a classic card. Yeah, Tony Taylor was a solid infielder for many years for the Phillies and later for the Tigers. Tony Taylor. Okay. All right. To me, if you don't think this is a beautiful card, then you better cut off the bottom of some Coke bottles and make some glasses out of them. Okay, are we focused? 1952 Johnny Mize. Yeah, just amazing. Great player for the Cardinals, Giants, and the Yankees. Yeah, he had great back control. He was a power hitter, and he struck out very few times. He also used all different kinds of bats. You know, he wouldn't just use one big one. It would all depend on the pitcher. He'd sometimes switch to a lighter bat or go to a heavier bat. Johnny Mize. Okay. And this is a T206 of the famous, manager for the Detroit Tigers, Hugh Jennings. And one day I'll do a feature on when I picked this card up. Picked it up with a number of others. And the gentleman who had a bunch of T206s, he had a whole bunch of them, and I was just going to pick a few out. And I was just drawn in by this card, struck by this card. I just knew there was something special about him. I didn't know anything about him. I just knew there was something about him. And he's got a very interesting story. And, I'll get into that another time. But, of course, that's Hugh Jennings. And this is what Sweet Caporal. Yeah, the standard for years. New baseball series. 350 to 460 subjects. Hugh Jennings. All right, who we have next? 1957 Ernie Banks. That's a great card. Everybody usually spends their time looking at the 1954 rookie. And while that's a great card, I don't have it. I'd love to have it. Maybe one day I'll get it. I might even like this card more, really. I just think it's a really great shot of him. And, Ernie Banks, 1957 Topps. Here's a cool card. 1969, sometimes it gets dismissed, but I think they got off to a rough start. The first series was kind of but as the season went on, they really got their act together. There's just some great photography in the set, and Tim McCarver, of course, was the great catcher for the Cardinals, later for the Phillies. And later on, he went on to becoming an announcer. Some of you might remember him when he announced for the Mets. And then he also would broadcast nationally on important games, World Series, and the like. Sometimes you get a little too analytical for me. He brought in this whole wave of analytical broadcasters, sometimes I think they go on a little bit too long and too much, but he had some interesting things to say. Tim Carver gave you things from a player's point of view. And this card reminds me of this card. I think that's one of Frank Robinson's great cards. Again, it seems like we see a lot of the 1957 Frank Robinson, which is great, but there are many other great cards of Frank Robinson. And again, this is one of them. 1969 Topps Frank Robinson. Another one of my favorite cards is this 1961 of Ken Boyer, the great third baseman, one of the two famous Boyer brothers who played third base, the other being Cleat. And of course, their older brother Cloyd pitched for a while. When I used to look at this, I used to actually live in St. Louis at this time in 1961. And when I was a kid, I just thought that the picture was taken in St. Louis. It looks like it was taken down in Florida during spring training. But I thought, it's cool. I felt like I was looking back in time to the time I was living in St. Louis, watching him swing away there. Another one of my favorite cards. 55 Al Kaline. Again, we usually see the 54, but 55 was a regal set in my opinion. And when I collect 55s, I like to collect them in really, really good shape. This is something, again, I use the word regal when I talk about the 55 set. And a lot of guys will say, I like the 56 set better. And I love the 56 set. But, the 55 set came first. And for those who like the action photo and the 56 card versus, just the background here, it wasn't 55's fault that 56 came later and imitated it with an action photo. They're both beautiful sets. I'm just kind of kidding around. But I love this card, Al Kaline. And here's a beautiful card of somebody some of you might know. I just think that's one of Mick's most beautiful cards. Yep, the 1958 Mickey Mantle. Classic if there ever was one. Okay, again, this is one of those cards that if you're not taken in by it, it's time to cut off the bottom of those Coke bottles and make some glasses. I mean, the 53 Joe Collins. Incredible card. Yeah. Getting near the end here. To me, again, this is one of Whitey's best cards, 61 Topps. One of the few where he's not in his pitching motion, where his arm is extended. We were talking about that, I think the last video when we were talking about Fritz Peterson, we kind of thought might have been emulating Whitey there. Both lefties, too. This card to me is just like a Hall of Fame card. I mean, wow. 61 Topps Whitey Ford. Getting near the end. Joe Page, 1952. He made his name basically as a reliever for the Yankees in 1947 and later in 1949. Those were his two great years. This is his 1952 Topps card. I just feel like these cards, you can really see the character in the players' faces. This one is just, to me, an amazing card. And as we all know, catcher cards are great. Catcher cards are so great. And this is a 1952 Bowman of Charlie Silvera. And Charlie, had the unfortunate job of sort of being a backup catcher for Yogi Berra, along with, I guess, Ralph Houck in the 1950s. And nobody was going to basically take over his job. So, he played a little bit and then he later got traded. But he went on later to become a coach in the majors, and he really basically worked for Billy Martin. Wherever Billy went, Charlie Silvera was there. I think he was with the Rangers, A's, and I think it was the A's, Rangers, A's, and Tigers. He worked with Billy. It was one of his coaches. Love that card. Two more. Yep, Sandy Amorós. Came from Cuba. His great moment came during the 1955 World Series in Game 7. It was the sixth inning. Johnny Padres was pitching. The Dodgers were ahead 2-0. And Billy Martin, Padres walked Billy Martin, and then Gil McDougald bunted for a single. So you had Martin on second, McDougald on first. And then Yogi Berra came up and hit a ball to the opposite field down the left field line. And Sandy Amorós got over there, stuck his glove out, and caught the ball and caught everybody off guard. And McDougald and Martin had to hurry back to their respective bases. But so Sandy Amorós threw to Pee Wee Reese, who in turn threw to Gil Hodges at first, doubling up Gil McDougald. So he had a double play. Hank Bauer, I think, was the next batter. He made out. And the Dodgers held on to win the game and win their first World Series against the Yankees in 1955. Sandy Amorós was definitely the hero that day. And one more card I'll show you. Another just amazing card, the 52 Monte Irvin. Just a beautiful, beautiful card. One of the great players who sadly was denied his full chance in the limelight. But he did come up and play for the Giants alongside Willie Mays. I think he had a really good year, and I think it was 51. But again, sadly was denied his chance to really fully play in the majors, as were so many other black athletes. So anyhow, I'm going to end it there. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of these cards, and we'll do it again. Don't forget to head over to Ray from Philly's channel and make your suggestions for some cards that you'd like to see included in the Hall of Fame. It's a lot of fun, and no matter who wins, it's just fun to participate and put forward your opinion, your ideas, and whatever happens. Okay, so look, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.